like having a cheat code in a game.
That.
We are using our own product. So we know what's the problem. We fixed it. Again, we had another cheat code, which is having 30 million users. So whenever we release an MVP to a small number of users, they will start using it and then we'll learn from them. We started using AI agents with our own customer support. We have almost 200 employees and over 2,000 tickets every day. And we decided, okay, what if we also like put this chatbot on our website and see what happens? We started with this 25% rate, and in 3 months we reached 75% resolution
Oh.
rate. Basically, like just we are automating that laziness.
Welcome to AI Catch Up, the podcast catching up with the tech products that matter in the AI era.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the AI Catch-Up. My name is Elena, and today I'm pleased to have a special guest with me. I'm joined at AI Catch-Up today by Aytekin, who has been bootstrapping Jotform for almost 20 years, and they have arrived into incredible results. Jotform is currently serving over 30 million users. There are 800 people on board. And Jotform has gone this year into a very special transformation that I would be paying very close attention in this episode today. Because Jotform has introduced AI agents to something that has been previously more in the niche of traditional form building and surveying. For me, Aytekin is the person who is definitely the visionary that is showing us not the typical unicorn playbook, but is also showing the way of building healthy businesses without venture capital and at the same time bootstrapping while also transforming and introducing new things. And not only, Aytekin has also created this great SaaS company, he's also written a bestseller that I would definitely recommend each and every of us to read, because it's very interesting how he is seeing what we can automate with our busy work. And that is exactly the book that I will also link in the show notes. It's my pleasure to have you on the show.
Hi, Elena. Thank you for having me on the AI Catch-Up podcast.
My pleasure. First of all, starting with how it was, well, back then in 2006 when Jotform has started. What was the problems that you wanted to solve and how has it changed over all these years?
So before Jotform, I was working as a developer, a programmer for a media company in New York. And we had over 100 websites. And our editors would constantly ask me to build forms. So I would create all these contact forms, surveys, questionnaires. Like they would run all these like different contests and registration forms, things like that. And I would look for like a product that could take this away from me, because it wasn't really fun or challenging task for me. But when I looked for a good product, I couldn't find one. So that's when I knew that this could be a product that I could build when I, after that job. In 2005, I quit my job and then I started writing the first code for Jotform, and it took me like 6 months to prepare the first version, and then I released it in 2006. So that's almost 2 decades ago, and that's how it started. And it was a slow growth in the beginning, but we have been building, and it's a bootstrap business, so it was very slow start in the beginning. Like the first year, I hired my first employee. Then like the first 5 years, like I would just like add one employee every year. Like by the time we were like 50 year, we only had like 5 employees. And SaaS business are like that. Like just it starts slowly, but it snowballs over time. And now like we have 30 million users and 800 employees and like, all these offices all around the world.
It is very interesting and impressive. You have been tired of doing something very repeatable and decided to find something that would take that heavy burden from your developer tasks, but then you decided that it can be a product. I'm also thinking whether the same push was on the AI agents and introducing it to Jotform. Was it because there were mundane tasks, or was there a certain other trigger?
It was also kind of similar. We actually followed the customer usage. This was over 2 years ago that we have something we call hack weeks at Jotform. So this is time for experimentation. In the early days, we would have these hackathons, but I would see people working all night. And I said, okay, let's not work all night. Instead of doing a hackathons, let's just do like hack weeks, and then so you can go home early, just not stay in the office all night. But what happens with hack weeks? It ends in like Fridays. Thursday nights, still people are staying late and working. So I couldn't solve that. But hack weeks are time for experimentation. And usually we try new technologies or new ideas. So we have done a few AI hack weeks, and 2.5 years ago, during this hack week, people actually came up with these ideas to fill out forms using AI. So some of them actually did voice. So you would talk to a voice AI, and then it asks you the question, interviews you, and then it enters all those answers to the form and then submits the form. So we saw that this is possible. So we thought, okay, let's build this product. And we started building that product. We didn't call it AI agents. It was just AI form filler. But we have 30 million users. Like whenever we release an MVP to a small number of users, they will start using it, and then we'll learn from them. So when we actually released this AI form filler feature to our users, what we discovered was, in addition to filling out forms, we actually added knowledge base to our AI so that people can actually, the AI can also answer questions, because you don't just fill out the form, you have questions, right? If you're registering for an event, you ask about the different things about the event, like what time is it, what's happening, who is attending. So you have to enter all those information as well. So we created the knowledge base. So we discovered that like most users were actually not using the forms part. They were actually using the chatbot part. They were using the knowledge base part. They would put chatbots on their website, and then they would answer the questions of their users. So it's basic chatbots, right? So we thought that a lot of other companies are also doing chatbot, but we discovered that people actually wanted this. 90% of the users weren't using forms. They were just using it as a chatbot. And then we also started adding all these tools and actions. And then that's why it actually became an AI agent. So not just a chatbot, but an AI agent that can actually fill out forms and like take appointments, use all tools, integrations, like submit, send the data to some other like CRM, some other service. So that's why we started calling it AI agents. And then like as we continued, before we released it, we discovered something else. Most people were actually using it for customer service. So that's why like we focused on the use case of customer service, answering the questions of the users pre-sale or post-sale. That's kind of the user feedback. That's how we developed the product. And we released that product in February. So far, we have 1,000 active users, and like active users is receiving like one conversation with AI agents within the last month. And it's like it turned out to be a great product. People love it, and we continue to develop it. And one thing we also did was like we added all these channels. Like we didn't stop at the chatbot. We added voice, we added phone, WhatsApp, and we are developing all these additional channels as well. Like I was today looking at our Instagram one, and like there's a presentation agent that's actually coming out next week. You can embed your presentation on your website. It can present something and then answer your questions on the website with web audio. So it's just all these different channels that we are also working on. So once you train your agent, why don't you use it in everywhere you can be, where your customers are? That's why so we are expanding on that, but it's the users, how they use the product and what kind of value they get, that provided us to path to build the product, like made our decisions based on the usage. And so far it's going well. And one of the things we did was we actually started using our own AI agents with our own customer support. We have almost 100 employees who are answering over 2,000 tickets every day. And so we decided, okay, what if we also like put this chatbot on our website and see what happens? Like we start getting like that number, that 2,000 support conversations, that actually went down to like 1,500. But we were also getting like around 2,000 conversations with our chatbot support. But in the beginning, it wasn't doing well, like because even though we added knowledge base, it wasn't really solving our users' problems. So what we started doing was like every day we actually like reviewed all those 2,000 conversations. Our human support team started like reading each one of them and then decided, okay, this one was resolved, this one wasn't resolved. And then that actually created a metric for us. So every day we had 2,000 conversations, And then we looked at how many of them was resolved. And it was only around 25% in the beginning when we released the product 3-4 months ago. And then so we decided, okay, we looked at all those conversations and why they weren't resolved. And then we clustered the common problems the AI cannot answer. So we started kind of like dividing them between teams. Like we gave one team, okay, you are going to solve these problems with email problems users have, because that's a very common, like we see 200 email related questions every day. And you guys are going to look into this other problem maybe people are having with their form submissions. We divided them up, and then our teams actually worked on finding solutions for automated solutions for those questions. So we started with this 25% rate, and in 3 months, we reached 75% resolution rates. And it's getting harder because it's very hard to find clusters now. We cannot find like very common problems now. Like every problem is like very unique and different now. So I don't think we will be able to go over 80%, but 70% is still amazing for us because we still have the human support. So most people actually get a quick response, and with AI, 24/7 quick response, instant response, and then if you can have them, they can go to our human support. And this also helps our human support load as well. So because we receive less and less questions on our human support, we are able to answer much more quickly. Like we had this 1.5 hour average response time with our human support, and that went down to like less than an hour, and sometimes even like half an hour or 45 minutes average response time. So that's also good because the AI can answer all these like problems quickly. The human support can actually take more time to answer more complex problems. It's best of both worlds because we still have the human support, but that works better. We might think that people actually prefer human support, but people actually prefer quick support. They want to get in their problem solved, their question answered instantly. And AI can do that. And human support may not be able to do that. And usually it doesn't do that because it's just hard to scale AI support, human support. So now we have all these easier questions handled by AI, and much more complex and difficult questions are handled by humans. It's worked really well for us, and we are still going to look into like what else we can do. But so far, it's going well for us using our own product, and this also helped us improve the product as well.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure that that is one of the workloads that so many other business owners are also willing to augment. I'm trying to understand how the flow was from, okay, here is the conversation that the agent hasn't resolved well. What was then done by the customer specialist, and what was the next step to do? Was it then changing the prompt? Was it the way of directing the query based on certain keywords? Was it maybe using more specific part of the knowledge base?
One of the biggest impact was improving the way we actually use the knowledge base. The previous RAG solution we had wasn't really doing well. I think that's one of the great things about using your own product. It's easier to discover problems because you understand like it doesn't work. And we solved that even though like we were putting all these correct knowledge bases, like we improved our user guides and we added everything to our user guides, and then our AI agent was using our own user guides. There was like so much information. It was going and finding the wrong information. So we actually changed the technologies we used, the RAG embeddings and vector database. So it was a technology change that suddenly gave us like a 10% increase in the resolution rates, because now the AI agent was able to find info. And what was great about this was this also improved the resolution rates for our own users as well. So we were able to discover the problem and we were able to fix it. So I think the RAG is very important, and it's just having the correct technologies. I know that they are using Gina for RAG, and that switching to that actually made the biggest difference for us. So that was one. Another one, what we did was for our human AI, human support. So when someone says, "Okay, I didn't receive my form submission email," like they actually go to a tool and they enter the email address of the user, and then they actually search for it, and there's a log that comes out, and then from that log they say, I see that email was sent to you at this time, maybe you should check your spam. Or they say something like, hey, the email wasn't sent to this email, maybe you had a different email address, or maybe they see an error message there, and they actually give that hey, it looks like your email is overcalled, and that's why you are not receiving our emails, things like that. So what we did was we actually implemented that tool as an API. And then because Jotform AI Agents has this API tool as well, we use that opportunity to improve our API tool to add all these additional features needed. And then the AI agent would ask for the email address of the user, and then it would make an API call, get a response, and then analyze that response and give an answer to the other side. So that's why we actually divided up all these clusters into different product teams so they can actually find these kind of solutions. I think the major solution was like really fixing our knowledge base, adding all these knowledge to our user guides and improving our RAG and knowledge base. But the other one was adding all these tools so that the AI agent can. But we also discovered all these bugs with our product and solved all those bugs as well. Those also made the difference. At this time, like we have around like 7 or 8 thousand conversations daily, and like 2,000 of them is our own support agent. But in the beginning, like when we just started, after the launch week, like, there was only like probably like 1,000 conversations from our own users, but we were receiving like 2,000 conversations with our own support. So what happened was we were our biggest user. We were consuming the most of the usage of our own product, which is great because this allowed us to fix the product. Whatever is broken, fix the product because we were experiencing the problem. Our customers were experiencing the problem. So as we apply those solutions, our users also gain those benefits as well. So I've been building products like 2 decades, right? And this is amazing. Being able to like really we use forms all the time. We use our own products a lot at Jotform, but it's not like you can use your own product like every day, thousands of times. But in this case, we had that opportunity to be the biggest user of our own product. And now we are not, we are still, I think we are still like one of the biggest users of our product, but, it helps us improve the product. And I think it's like, it's like having a cheat code in a game.
Yeah.
So we know what's the problem. We fix it. As we fix it, like our users also get that value.
Yeah, yeah. And when it comes right now to the customers who are using the newly created system with AI agents, what insights do you have about the traction? Is it that the previous customers that have already used the forms from you decided to add it as additional functionality, and have they completely switched to the new types of forms that are powered by AI agents? Do you see some that are just right now coming to Jotform from being greenfield customers just because of AI agents? What are the things that are surprising to you when it comes to customer traction?
Again, we had another cheat code, which is having 30 million users. So most of our existing users at AI agents are actually coming from Jotform. And we also didn't have additional pricing. If you are a Jotform customer, if you're already paying, you get all the benefits on the AI agents as well. There's actually a free version as well on the AI agents. But if you're already a paid customer of Jotform, you have all these big, limits on your AI agents as well. So that was something that people actually loved, and they were saying, "Hey, I'm already a silver user or a gold user, and I get so much with AI agents. Why not? It's free for me. Why not use it?" And that's been a great way to get people to use the product. And once they tried it, they see that it works well for them. Another thing is like, even though like we see a lot of usage on all these like different channels, the biggest users are actually websites because like people are actually lazy. Even if people come to your website, they don't spend time to read it. Like, they don't spend time to search for something. If they have a question, they just want their question answered right away. So you visit the website, you don't have time to look for some question you have. You see a chatbot, you're just going to write it right there. So this also makes chatbots a great way to do user research, because people are actually, when they come to your website, they're actually typing whatever they have in their mind, whatever they are looking for. If you read all those conversations with the AI, you learn so much about your visitors, and then maybe you can add those things to your website if you are missing them. So I think 70% of the usage is from websites. People put this chatbot AI agents on their websites, and then people are either linking or putting it as a chatbot at the right bottom side as this avatar, or actually just embed the chatbot fully on the web page, or just simply put a button and then use it as a pop-up. This allows them to complete their websites, have more functionality so that they can answer their questions. One example, one of the biggest users was this big festival, and they were getting so many questions, hundreds of questions. And if you think about it, and most of those questions were actually on the website already. People weren't reading the website; they were just asking them the same questions again, who is gonna be singing, what is the cost of this, where can I park my car, all kinds of questions. And this also allows the owners of the festival to receive all these common questions and then put those answers to their website for people who doesn't use the chatbot but read these questions. And one of the things we did with Jotform AI agents is if someone asks a question, and if you don't have the answer, we will just email to the owner of the chatbot and say, I couldn't answer this question. And then if they reply back that information, we actually put that into knowledge base. We recently also added web search. If, let's say, someone actually ask a question, it's not on the knowledge base, we are going to actually go and search for this knowledge within your website to find it and give that answer to the user. And it was slow, but now it's much faster. We figured out a ways to make it faster. Basically, we are automating that laziness. And that's something I mentioned in my book as well. There's a Bill Gates quote. He says that I would always hire a lazy person to do a hard job, because the lazy person will find a smart way to solve it. And people don't want to search and browse the website, find their information, but AI can do that for them. And AI and automation can actually give them those answers. And that's what we are doing. And that's the biggest distraction is from websites.
Yeah, that is indeed a very simple truth. But yes, thinking about the user laziness is a valid approach to designing the website and then thinking how to be the most helpful. What I would be curious about is your view on the future of interfaces. In our discussion before the recording, we were already talking about my personal big bet on voice interactions. But then, for example, you haven't seen that much traction of users willing to actually not type within the chatbot, but to talk to it, right? What things do you expect from the websites of the future? What should business owners think about that? Should they just put the chatbot in the middle of their website and not then have different blocks over there, but then just have knowledge base and that's it? What do you think?
I think this, the AI is going to be like version 3 for websites. So version 1 was all these static web pages. Towards the end of these, I remember creating websites and learning HTML and building all these static web pages. And then websites became more programmatic and functional as they became apps. And I think version 3 is more about AI and AI doing many things for you on the website. Chatbots are a great example, but AI gives us an ability to build products by vibe coding, right? You don't have to be a programmer to develop products today. There are lots of products that you can use, and you can just describe what you want, and then they can build the product for you. And you can deploy all these products on your website. They are getting better and better every day. At some point, you're going to be able to develop everything you need on your website by just talking to it. And your website can be much bigger than what it is today. And one of the things is that every business, they have a website. But what they can have is they can have their own AI agents. So people are now used to talking to ChatGPT when they have a question. Like my kids, they're in the elementary school, and my boys, and when they have a question, they just go to ChatGPT voice mode and they ask their questions, and it gives them perfect answers. And this doesn't make them lazy. This actually makes them more likely to ask more questions. This makes them more curious. So I'm not against like kids using AI because it gives them like so much more abilities, like to learn so much more. Even a kid who doesn't, know how to read or write today can go to ChatGPT and ask the question, right? So my third child, she's 2 years old now. Maybe, when she's older, she's just going to be able to do that before she learns how to read and write. This means that like people are now used to talking to AI, asking their questions, doing research, learning about things. It was very hard when I was a kid. Like I had to, read an encyclopedia or go to a bookstore or like a library to find information.
Yeah.
Kids like a decade ago would just easily Google things and find the answers. But today, kids don't even have to go to Google. They can just ask a specific question and get a specific answer. And this actually makes them much more curious and much more interested in like learn because they know they can actually find out about everything they want. So, but this is only for consumers, right? You can only do this as a consumer or as a business. Like you can do your research this way. But what if every business actually had like their own ChatGPT? They can give it to their customers. When you go to a website for a business, or it could be government, it could be a school, education, it could be a nonprofit organization, or it could be a small business or a large business. You go to their website or you go to their mobile app, and then you start asking your questions, and then it knows everything about that business that's publicly available. You can buy stuff, you can learn about their products. And people are, as we said, people are lazy. They will not find that YouTube video that can actually answer their question. But their AI can actually give them that video and run that video for them, or just give them straightforward answer to their question. AI gives like every business an opportunity to be able to help users. And it's not just about providing answers. It's also AI agents can also use tools. So it can actually, you can make purchases, you can get customer support, ask about your order, get a tracking ID or something about your order, what's happening with your order, even at like 3 a.m. in the middle of the night. So having their own AI agents, they're, the business help to their customers no matter what time, in the middle of the night or, weekend or a holiday, doesn't matter. You can give them answers. So I think this is a great opportunity. And we're probably going to see this in the coming years. We have a vision to be that provider. The businesses or organizations can have these AI agents that can interface with their customers and provide answers, provide support, provide all these tools. So if they have a specific inquiry about something like an order, they can get an answer.
You were describing the same experience that I have had, was needing to go to the library to find something in a very specific topic. But what about when I didn't want to go to the library because I didn't have any special inquiry? The same thing will be right now happening with the users that are just exploring, right? And we are slowly switching from having the beautiful designs to having beautiful question answering machines. But if the user doesn't have any question and any inquiry, are there certain specific tips that you're giving to the customers of yours?
Yeah, it's not just about like providing support, but it's, you can also do like sales and lead generation with the AI agents. We see that a lot as well by just, asking their customers. The AI agents can actually trigger the questions as well, like asking them like what they're interested in, and try to it's kind of like if you have a store and someone enters, if you have someone who can actually answer your questions, that's great, but that person can also make a suggestion for you. Or in a restaurant, they can suggest a special or something, right? So the AI agents can also do that. It doesn't have to be just about answering questions, but also providing all these options and suggestions to the users. So those things are also possible, and people use those things as well. I think, one of the ways people use AI agents on their website is like lead generation. So that when someone people visit your website and then they go away, and then like you don't even have their email address. You cannot like help them if you probably lost them, right? But by engaging them with a chatbot, you have an opportunity to get their email address. So that if they are stuck on something, you can just go and be more proactive and try to get them to help them further. Yeah.
It's like in a physical store when the salesperson is coming to you and then typically answering whether they can help you with something, and then I'm just looking. But if they would be then saying something like, "Oh, here is a discount code for you. Will you leave the email for me?" Then it is at least possible to have this user or visitor of the physical store traced. That is rather
It's sometimes
comparable.
annoying, right? But when you have a question, when you need a suggestion, then it's actually needed. And if you are stuck, if you have a question, if you are confused about all these like different options, then if no one can help you, maybe you will just leave, and that business will lose the opportunity to make a sale. But having that person available, in the case of the website, having that AI agent available 24/7, making suggestions, giving them options might be a good way to keep them.
Yep, 24/7 is definitely a killer feature here. Aytekin, I was also very curious about you being the driver of this AI motion in the company, and also on maybe a bit of provocative question on what was the biggest internal hurdle on bringing the completely different workflows to even this customer support specialist that you have described. What are the points that you have observed? And I'm calling them points, even though they might be objections, they might be some positive moments. What was it that you have observed internally when you have started to, transform the vision and the roadmap of the company? And what learnings have you gotten from there?
I don't think we had any objections because everyone is excited about AI. They see the potential for AI. But also, I have weekly speeches. So every Friday we have demo days. And during these demo days, our teams actually show what they are doing, what they are working on to the whole company. And every demo day, I also make a speech like 10 or 15 minutes. And usually just describing my vision, describing our plans, that probably helped us get people to excited about AI as well. So that's why I don't think we have any objections. In fact, people were excited about AI because anybody who used ChatGPT for 10 minutes will know that there's something big going on. This is the fourth biggest revolution in my lifetime. The first one is personal computer. I was very young when the personal computers came out, but as I grew, I saw the adoption everywhere. The second one was the internet. Like the now suddenly we can communicate with anybody in the world, anywhere in the world, or like reach any information we want. It's just amazing. Third one was the mobile phones. Suddenly, everyone, everywhere, wherever they go, they have these mobile phones, these computers with them. That's amazing. But the fourth revolution is the AI. It's a big revolution. It's very obvious because this changes everything. And the adoption is so much bigger. I don't know the exact number, but I think like ChatGPT is reaching like billion people now. Personal computers, it took decades for businesses and people to start using them. Internet took maybe less, like it took years, many years to get people to start using. And mobile was so every time a big revolution coming, it's just getting faster and faster. And now the AI adoption is much faster. I expect the businesses also want to adopt. I'm really excited to be a big part of this revolution, providing a product for businesses to be able to be part of this revolution. Just have their own AI agents, customize their agents, teach their agents, and prepare those agents to be able to serve their customers. It's very exciting. And once I defined that vision and then introduced it to our team, they were all very excited about it. But also, we didn't just set big goals and set very rigid ideas. We were always like learning, like trying, like having experiments and then describing those as experiments to the team and then sharing the knowledge from those experiments. And they see the value as well from those experiments and then learning from our customers. And also in demo days, our user research team shares all things they learn from users by interviewing them or doing usability testing with our users. As people solve all those knowledge, they got more and more excited about the technology and the possibilities. And it was a gradual process because, we always shared with each other all these learnings. People were very open to the AI. We are still working on AI agents, but we have now additional projects with AI to use AI in more places to give the power of AI to our users, existing Jotform users as well. So yeah, it's very exciting times.
The employees from the companies that I have seen are mostly fighting for being in the projects that are integrating AI into their workflows. So probably good times. For the last question of our conversation today, as we have learned, you can not only run the company with 800 people, but also write Wall Street bestsellers. That is why my question would be on the aspects that you have been described in the book, Automate Your Busy Work, and whether there is one specific system or automation that you would recommend each and every listener to build to automate their busy work and, well, put their laziness a bit into action. Is there something that you are always very excited to see that someone is building?
I think the biggest automation gain for me personally was automating the way I processed my emails, because I was spending every day 5 or 6 hours every day. So the solution I found was able to reduce that to an hour a day. So the reason I was spending so much time was I was constantly looking at my emails and just, even though I was trying to use Inbox Zero, constantly going back and forth and just processing all my emails, there was no priority. So the solution I implemented was basically I created 3 labels: level 1, level 2, level 3. Level 1 means the top highest priority emails that I should be looking at very quickly. I should be processing quickly. Level 2 is more like a direct emails to me about something. And level 3 is more like newsletters or email threads. So in the past, I would spend so much time, like I'm looking at my emails and I see a newsletter, I start reading it, I spend half an hour. And I see this conversation other people are having. I'm reading that, trying to figure out. I looked at all different products, but none of them actually worked for me. But I discovered that the solution was right in front of me. We are using Gmail as our business as well. And Gmail actually has this filtering tools. So basically what I did was, if an email coming from our head of HR directly to me, for example, I would take the filter so that it would go to level 1. If someone important emailed me, that would go to level 1. So if I care about something that I receive and I shouldn't miss. So every time I received an email, I ask myself, okay, should it be on level 1, level 2, or level 3, or just should I not care? And so what happened was that I created thousands of these filters over the years. So right now, whenever an email comes in, it goes to one of the levels, and if the email is like spam or something, it doesn't even go to my labels, so I don't even see them. This way, whenever I need to check my emails, I just go and I just inbox zero my level 1, and I don't have to rush about anything else. So this means that I spend less time worrying about missing an important email. I'm still doing inbox zero, but I'm only doing inbox zero on the important emails. And I check level 2 time to time, and level 3 less often, just quickly scan if there's something important. And so this allows me to be able to really spend less time on the email and just spend more time on important emails. So this was an automation that really helped me save so much time, hours every day, and not miss any important emails as well. Yeah.
It is very impressive that the email classification is something that guest of my podcast has already mentioned. So Jack Roberts has been recommending each and every person, if they are willing to build any AI automation, actually do that for emails. I'm already seeing a golden thread here. And your responses to me were very fast. Similarly to how it was with the team members of yours with whom we are preparing the case study around AI agents and how the adoption of the new transformation wave of Jotform has been going through. We are reflecting on this since February, so that would be giving us first very interesting results that I will also include into the show notes. But I'm thanking you for the precious time of yours, Aytekin, and I hope that today you are done with your level 1 emails.
Thank you, Elina. It was great to be on the show, and thank you for the great questions. I enjoyed it, and see you next time.
AI Ketchup brings the news. Tech solutions users can't refuse.